Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I warmly welcome you to this EU Green Week event presenting purest and safest food in the world, sustainable food production in East and North Finland. My name is Paula Heikkilä, and I will be your moderator through this webinar that is jointly organized by the 7 regions of East and North Finland, in collaboration with Agri-Food Cluster in Pohjois-Savo region. At this point, I will not bother you with the technical details and instructions for this webinar. You can find them in the chat. But I do want to encourage you to utilize the chat for possible discussions and for possible networking. But we have a rather tight schedule today, so without further ado, I would like to give the floor to Professor Atte von Wright for the opening words for this webinar. So the floor is yours, Professor.
Well, good afternoon, dear participants. I would like to start my opening address first by thanking the organizers for this opportunity to both to welcome you and to express some of my own views and thoughts about the topic. You probably are all aware that Finland is the northernmost agricultural country in the world. And if you look outside, you can appreciate that this position well, it brings certain challenges, some challenges that we at present can do very little about. Our climate is what is it. It may be changing in the few decennia from now, but anyway, we have to live with it. Our soil is what is it, and certainly the conditions for agricultural production, for food production, in many respects, might be better in other parts of the world than in Finland. But historically thinking, we have not resigned to these challenges. When we compare the average agricultural yields of the food crops about 100 years ago, they have increased 3 to 4 times through the better agricultural practices, through the systematic breeding and selection of new varieties of cereals, of vegetables, of all kinds of products that we are growing. Also the animal production, just to pick up my favorite, the milk production, it has quadrupled in 100 years. So quantitatively, I think we are doing the best what we can in our present circumstances. But there's a limit of this. Despite of all our efforts, our average harvests are still on the average only about 60% of what we typically see, for example, in Denmark. And Finland is a relatively large country, and especially in north-south direction, long and narrow country. And the conditions are very variable in different parts of the country. Here in northern Savo, the average yields per hectare of most food crops are only about 60% of the harvest that we see in southwestern parts of Finland. So there appears to be certain limit regarding the quantitative improvement of the Finnish agricultural production. But are there some qualitative advantages, and I think it's my opinion that exactly some of these factors that present the challenges regarding the quantitative production are actually blessings in disguise when we consider about the quality of the Finnish foodstuffs, Finnish primary produce. Our long and harsh winters are also long and harsh for most agricultural pests, for different plant diseases. I would say that each spring we have a new fresh start. Consequently, the need of, even in conventional agriculture, to say nothing about the organic agriculture, the need of pesticides, plant control agents are much more modest than they are in more favorable climatic conditions. And I think it has been objectively shown that in Finland, the average exposure of the consumers to these the residues of different plant protection products is much lower than, for example, in Central Europe. And even most of that minor exposure results from the imported fruit and vegetables. So we can really say that in certain respect, the Finnish food production is very clean, it's very pure, compared in European and even global aspects. The Finnish environment is also relatively clean. We have not serious industrial pollution, not very much polluted soils. That means that the chemical contaminants and heavy metals usually are not a problem. And I would say that the educational system in Finland also is a key factor, because I would say that all the central players in the Finnish food chain are well educated. That means that the message of the authorities is well, they are not challenged. People are law obeying. They understand the need of control measures, hygienic practices, and the Finnish food safety system is more collaboration between the authorities and the other actors in the food chain than a kind of contentional relationship. Authorities are not the enemy of actors in the food chain. Okay, the title of this webinar is that refers to the purity of the Finnish food, the claim that it is or will be the purest in the world. Sometimes this view has been challenged. Sometimes individual cases where there has been food contamination also in Finland have been picked up, but I think it is my honest opinion that basically this view is correct. But the world is never perfect. We continuously have to improve things. Things are never ready. And we have challenges, not the least because of the expected change in the climate, which might bring new diseases, new pests, new insects, you name it, which really might challenge the present status. But I think we have all the tools to answer even those challenges. And for me, it is a great pleasure to see that the different actors in the food chain, from the field to fork, primary producers, industry, the commercial chains, the authorities, and not the least the scientific community, are all committed not only to preserve but to even more improve the present high quality of the Finnish food and Finnish food chain. Well, having said all that, I warmly welcome you to this webinar and wish you all a happy and fruitful and stimulating discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor von Wright, for the opening words and for the overview of the challenges and conditions we have in Finland for food production. Now I would like to give the floor to our next presenter, Vice President of the Finnish Organic Research Institute, Mrs. Sari Iivonen. And Mrs. Iivonen will talk about organic farming as a forerunner for sustainable food production. So go ahead, Sari.
Thank you very much. I will try to share my presentation. Okay, and then I would like to... Okay, yes. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Okay, thank you very much for inviting me to this seminar. And yes, I'm a head of Finnish Organic Research Institute, and actually Finnish Organic Research Institute is a research network operating under the auspices of Natural Resources Institute Finland, Luke, and University of Helsinki. As you probably all know, that organic production is based on European quality scheme, so which means that also in Finland, farmers are following legislation, European common legislation for organic farming. And on the right-hand side, you can see that EU's Euroleaf logo for organic products. And all those labeled items which you are using this logo are really produced according our common rules for organic production in Europe. Organic farming cannot be kept as an only solution for greening agriculture, but let's say that it can be an important part of the toolbox for greater sustainability of our food system. And in new agenda, Green Deal agenda of European Union or European Commission published in last year sets very ambitious goals for organic farming in Europe. In European from a farm to fork strategy have been set goal 25% of total farmland be used for organic farming by 2030. So which means that we do need to really have to make big investments to organic farming systems. At the moment, an average an average share of organic land area in Europe is about 8%. So from 8% to 25 is big step to be made in 10 years. Also in European biodiversity strategy, organic farming has been mentioned in many times, and in that strategy we do have very ambitious goals to decrease also use of chemical pesticide, as well as use of chemical fertilizers. And in that sense, organic farming and its methods can offer also important knowledge and know-how to conventional farmings in order to achieve those goals set to the production. This figure describes a change needed in sustainability of global agriculture and food systems. And this figure has been published about 2 years ago in highly qualified scientific paper Nature. And if you look at the present situation of global agriculture and food system, and it has been limited by solid black line. You can see that the green triangle on the right corner label in organic and agroecological systems, it's quite small. And if we are moving the whole system towards higher sustainability, it also means that the share of organic and agroecological system will increase. And those 3 yellow arrows describes the different activities which are needed to make this shift towards higher sustainability. We do need to improve all the systems. We need to stimulate demand of more sustainable products, and also different kind of supporting activities have to be conducted, and also performance of organic and agroecological system has to be increased. So different activities and different levels are needed. In Finland, organic production is of interest to consumers and producers. At the present, we do have about 5,000 farms in organic production, which means that about 11% of all the farms in Finland are in organic production. So let's say that organic production is not so minor anymore. It's not so marginal, and it's all the time increasing. At the moment, about 14% of the Finnish agricultural land is in organic production. And on right hand side, the upper figure shows us the development of share of agricultural land used in organic production, and you can see that the share has increased constantly in last decade. The similar development has happened in organic product consumption in Finland. Sales of organic products in retail stores in Finland has more than doubled in last decade. and we are waiting that the same kind of development will continue in the future. As I already told you that that there is a wider demand for agroecological know-how, and all the farms utilizing organic farming methods are not certified as organic farms. So more sustainable methods need to be used in all agricultural systems. Finnish organic production in European context is already quite well developed. As I told you, that an European average for organic area share of total farmland is 8%, and in Finland actually at the moment it's already almost 14%. So we belong to the group of top countries in Europe. Of course, there are some countries which have been developed faster than us, and which have been more ambitious what comes to organic farming. Our neighbor countries, Estonia and Sweden, have been very ambitious, and the share of organic farming is already 20%, and in Estonia even 22% of total agricultural land. But let's say that we are developed also in Finland very well. If we are looking at organic production in East and North Finland, you can see that actually we are top in top regions in Finland, in East and North Finland. In some regions, that dark green color describes regions where share of organic production is from 20 to 30%, and greener light means share of organic production from 15 to 20%. And you can see that actually we have already 2 regions in eastern Finland which have achieved and almost achieved the European ambitious goal for organic farming, 25%, and those regions are North Kareli and Kainuu regions. But in generally, East Finland has performed very well. We already heard that in Finland we do have very special environment for agricultural production, which is characterized with very harsh winter and very intensive growing season, and it explains very well why Lapland region, northmost area in Finland, hasn't developed it so fastly. It's very challenging environment for agricultural production. But in Lapland, they have done excellent work what comes to utilization of organic brand in wild collection production. And most of the organic wild collection areas are located in northern Finland, and Lapland is very top in terms of wild collection production. all our regions have special features in organic production, and there are some examples based on the strength of different areas. North Savo and North Ostropothria have especially organic milk and meat production. South Savo is a forerunner in organic vegetable production, and new insights in utilization of organic brand in sustainable tourism have been done. And North Korea, for example, is specialized in berry and honey production in addition to milk and meat production. Finland is leading country in organic forest, which means that actually we are leading country in the globe. Our certified organic wild collection area is the largest in the world. And that's the area where we have worked in quite active way in last year, and develop it also different kind of wild collection products. It has been estimated that more than 90% of Finland's forest would already meet the criteria set for organic wild collection areas. So we can say that organic forests are a treasure trove of possibilities to utilize berries, but also mushrooms and the subwaters and so on. As I already told you, that organics can be seen as an important driver for changes in sustainability. It's not only solution, but it can be very important part of the solutions. But it doesn't mean that the organic farming systems and organic farming methods are perfect. So we need to develop continuously organic farming and its methods, and so that its promises of added value towards consumers and society can be met. And that's why we have also published our new research strategy for next 4 years. And in our institute, we are going to focus on our research in different key questions from farm to fork, and our research teams covers different questions in different themes in organic primary production, in environmental environmental questions of organic farming, in refining of organic food and its nutritional aspects, and also questions in organics in society and on the market, and those questions are linked to, for example, to business solutions and consumer behavior questions. So lots of research has to be done in the future to develop also our systems and our production in Finland. As we already heard, that in Finland, our freshwater resources are among Europe's most abundant in relation to the population. Finnish food chain is very clean of bacteria. Food farmed in Finland contains very small quantities of pesticide residues, as Atte from Fried already told us, and This is really because a smaller amount of chemical pesticides are used in conventional production, and it's also important from the point from the organic farming's viewpoint, because it decreases also risk of organic products for contamination of chemical pesticides. And we also already heard that actually Finland's soil is among the cleanest in Europe with regard to heavy metals. So we can honestly say that Finland's poor environment offers us lots of possibilities to produce high quality organic products, which is very important actually in our world, and what comes to our competence competence also in global organic farming production. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Sari. We have a couple of questions. First from Riikka Tanskanen. What do you see as the primary goal in organic farming in Finland, and what should we develop in East and North Finland?
I would like to say that one big issue in Finnish organic production system is that we should in different ways promote availability of organic products in shops, so that consumers would get a larger variety of different organic products. So only increasing of production area is not enough. We really need to invest to whole supply chain and the refining of interesting organic products.
Thank you. And then there was a second question from Virjo Ylihemminki. Are there strict criteria for organic forest products?
Well, it's not very strict. If we are looking at our forest, the certification, the main things in certification scheme are related to use of different inputs, which means that chemical fertilizers or chemical plant protection agents are not cannot be used in organic forest areas, but the forest management is not restricted in any way. So it's not difficult actually for us, because we are not using so much chemical fertilizers in forest, and not so much pesticides.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Sari, so much for attending our webinar. Now
Thanks.
It's time to move on to our next speaker, Mrs. Ardita Hoxha-Yahya. I rehearsed that name. So from Savonia University of Applied Sciences, and Ardita's speech will focus on traceability in Finnish food chain with a focus on milk and meat production. So you're welcome, Ardita.
Thank you, Paula. And really, you pronounced my name as right as you could. So thank you. I will kindly ask Sara to stop sharing in order that I can share my presentation.
You should be able to now share your screen.
Okay. Yes, now I can. Yeah. Good. So actually a lot has been done from previous speakers before me when it comes to the climate conditions and the quantities that we can produce based on these climate conditions that we have in this part of Europe. But actually sometimes there is these advantages with these conditions because we can pay more attention and we are so much going into details when it comes to the quality of products that we are producing. I'll be focusing today in milk chain, and then I'll be talking also a bit about meat production in Finland, but specifically in the region of the North Savo. Yes, I'm Ardita Hoja-Yahya, as I have been introduced, and I'm working for Savonia University of Applied Sciences, and also I'm leading the team on establishing agri-food cluster for North Savo. We have been hearing very often about Finland, a country of milk, and I get lots of questions because people from different countries, they think that how it's possible that from such a cold country you are consuming that much milk. And actually, just for your information or just refreshing our minds, we are the largest country in the world when it comes to consumption of the milk. And I have been collecting some data from our Natural Resources Institute, and we can see that actually we are leading when it comes to the milk consumption. For us, milk production is very important, and it's a source of livelihood in the rural areas, maintaining population and vitality of the rural areas. We can see that from this graph that the average milk yield per cow has been increased step by step, very steadily in each year. If we start counting from 2010 to 2020, we'll see that since 2012 there is an increase of the milk production or milk yield, average milk yield per cow. In the period from, even though we are leading with the milk consumption, I have to say that lately with new trends, actually the milk consumption is declining also in Finland. And if we look the data from 2009 to 2019, in these 10 years we have dropping or declining of milk consumption, and it's about 30 kilogram per capita. But then if we are looking the year 2019 and comparing to a previous year, 1 year, there is a roughly around 5 kilos less consumption of the milk. And this is coming, I think, because of the climate change issues and the trend of the young generations on the milk consumption idea. There, as has been said before me, that some of the disadvantages, they lead us to the quality production, and I was trying to like find the comparison of the cattle herd size in different countries so that we could compare to see what is the herd size of cattle in one farm. And we can see that we are among the ones that we have relatively small dairy farms. But that's something that leads us to very good or very qualitative final products. And if we are looking to this phenomenon from dairy farm to the final product, we could see that there is much better care, since that farms are usually family farms, and farmers get to know individual names and even by name. So if you go to a Finnish family farm, everybody knows their animals by name. Also, I have to say the fact that the leading milk processor in Finland is Valio, which means that it has over 80% of the market share, and Valio is owned by the Farmers Association, and it means that the source of milk that they are using for their products is from the farms, and which are their owner entrepreneurs. And this makes it much easier to build trust between producers and processors. And I have to admit once again that our milk products are clean. The food supply chain is easily traceable from the farm to the dining table, and the Valio brand stays with the product from the start to the finish. So this is something that makes it unique in Finland, I would say. It has been said many times that milk production is our strength, and that's because milk production methods, as well as smaller farms compared to competing regions and individual animal care, are among Finland's strengths. We make time to observe our animals, and we don't medicate. We don't use right away medication without having their strong reason or strong cause to do that. We have strong ability to handle the GMO issues. We are much better compared to the others, as typical cow feeding in Finland is based on grass feed. Feed makers are actively involved in the supply chain, and they are committed to list to the positive development of the whole chain. We are producing high quality milk all year round with no compromise due to the seasonal demands or weather conditions. So every time in the year you will find local milk in Finland. Also, I tried to find the ways that we compare how we are doing with milk production compared to other countries. So in this graph, you will see the milk production per kilogram per cow per year, as well as energy corrected milk per kilogram per cow. And as we can see that we are doing quite well. There is, of course, space that we could maybe try to increase, but with these conditions, I think that we are at optimal level when it comes to the amount of produced milk. The other fact about the milk chain in Finland is that milk is going digital. What that means is that Finnish dairy sector is putting in a lot when it comes to digitalize the journey of their milk from farms to the store shelves. So everything, it's almost every part of the chain is digitalized, and this is done in that way that it starts addressing the core questions in the whole chain: why, what, and how. What it means that milk goes digital. So the milk itself, it cannot be digital, but the digital journey begins with a cow. This means that all cows are registered and they are wearing sensors, and this enables that we have full monitoring of the individual cow in terms of milk production, right amount of feed rations, as well as right timing of the gestation. And in the end, I'll show you a video where we will go through each step of this digital part. And this is also, the digitalization is gaining ground at a rapid pace as the number of dairy farms has continually reduced while the size of farms has increased. Also, we have to remember that all trucks that they are transporting milk from farms to the dairy plants are fully digital with the high-tech technology. And that means that it allows farms to monitor the location of their trucks and have the data transferred in real time between the trucks and the dairy laboratories. As I just said previously, the number of dairy farms in Finland is also going in the same trend as in many European countries, is steadily decreasing throughout the period from 2010 to 2020. And from this graph, it's very visible how this decrease is going. And I can say that within the 10 years, the number of Finnish dairy farms producing milk shrank by nearly 50%. But I have to say that the size of the farm has increased. When it comes to beef production, I'm not going to go into the whole details because I have to say that milk production is closely connected to beef production, as more than 85% of Finnish beef is produced as byproduct of milk production. Male calves of dairy cows are raised for beef production, and dairy cows that have ended their production are also slaughtered for beef. Beef production is studied in comparative manner, including beef production as animal feeding, being equally mindful of potential environmental effects caused by it. I also have to say that the good signal is that beef farmers are very much interested, and they are putting effort towards organic farming. And I'm sure that my previous speaker and the ones coming after me, they might have very useful data about this fact. Because of the ongoing climate change emphasis that we are going through, importance of plant breeding and variety tests have a considerable role among annually accomplished field trials. Animal welfare is also verified and taken into consideration very closely. That's why lots of farms, they are verifying and following animal welfare by video recording, and based on that they are utilizing appropriate sensor techniques. Obtained results are utilized in construction of beef production model developed for Finnish beef farm conditions. I also have to say another fact that North Savo region, actually Kuopio municipality is leading just after Pohjois-Pohjanmaa with the milk production. There is, for 2020, the data shows that it has been produced 73.2 million liters of milk in the municipality of Kuopio, which is the highest among the Finnish municipalities. And this gives us lots of responsibilities in this region, that we develop our know-how and build good connection between education, know-how, science, and industry. For this reason, we have been working very intensively last years to establish agri-food cluster for North Savo. And in this link here, and we can share this, yeah, I just wanted to show this. We can share this with all participants. You can find more information about how do we do this, or how do we cooperate and put things together, all actors of the food chain within the cluster, in order that we develop further. Also, in order that I go through each details to the food chain of the North Savo region, I have decided that I use a video that we have been developing with UEF, Regional Council of North Savo, and Savonia University of Applied Sciences, where we, not only me speaking, but it will be visualized how we do this. So I just have to stop sharing and share again in order that I make sure that the sound will be, yes, good.
By 2050, the world will have to feed 9 billion people. The United Nations, in its Sustainable Development Goals, has committed to enhancing food security and attaining zero hunger. Sustainable Development Goal number 2. Food security is defined as when all people, at all times, have physical, social and economic access to sufficient, safe and nutritious food that meets their food preferences and dietary needs for an active and healthy life. Sustainable food production is tied to ensuring maximum gains to public health, which is central to Sustainable Development Goal number 3, good health and well-being. This is Johannes. He is in Finnish Comprehensive School and wants to find out how food travels from farm to fork. A food value chain consists of all the stakeholders that participate in production and value-adding activities to make food products.
Hello.
Hello, you must be Johannes. I've been expecting you. Let's go to the classroom. It all starts with a primary production, for example, from a berry farm or the dairy farm. And at this level already one has to have good agricultural practices to ensure that high quality products reaches the next stage. Different factories, for example, berry processing plant or dairy plant producing juices, jams or whatever for liquid milk, cheeses, yogurt. And in order to have a high quality personnel both in the factories and in the laboratories, we need high quality education and training of food professionals at different levels of academic institutions.
The good quality food is a basic human right. The role of education in the food sector is of course quite essential because both the food companies, authorities, the control laboratories need a highly trained personnel. Quite essential part is the high quality laboratory personnel, laboratory technicians that perform the actual work in laboratories. It's very important that they are also highly qualified and familiar with the latest analytical techniques.
Hello, hello.
Okay, now we are in plant factory. And the plant factory we have a LED light, nice temperature, humidity, and this create a great environment for plants to grow. This is the modern way to grow plants inside. In this plant you can see the flower, and in the center of flower this yellow part, and when the pollen settles down on those pistils, strawberries start to grow. And first they are small, bigger, then they swallow more, and then when they are ready they start to turn red. My name is Harri Kokko and I'm plant scientist and working with the berry plants here at the University of Eastern Finland. And we are working as a team with the farmers. This work is funded by the public resource, but we are working for the farmers. So the basic science solves the problem of the berry farmers, and we are somewhere between basic science and applied science. And this is where I'm between, trying to solve the problems of the berry farmers.
University of Eastern Finland, for example, the closed nutrient cycle in vertical farming and LED lighting in berry farming is being investigated for greenhouse production. Certified quality operations are followed to ensure product safety and minimal environmental load. A berry farmer must carefully select the sites where planting takes place. Slopes are preferred to flatland to avoid waterlogging. Watering of berries is important. There must be good water drainage to reduce risks of fungal infestation. If watering is done in a manner that results in the berries getting wet, the microbiological quality of the water must be tested to ensure berries are not contaminated. Berry pickers are trained by farmers to work hygienically and also pick berries carefully to ensure they are as intact as possible and free from defects and damage. After picking, berries are weighed and batches marked. Following this, berries are either delivered to buyers or collection points without delay, or chilled and refrigerated and delivered within 24 hours. Berries may go directly to consumer markets or then to berry processing companies. Berries are received at berry processing companies at loading platforms, where visual checks are conducted to investigate the external quality and the batches registered into a database. Berries are then industrially frozen for processing later into jams, yogurts, ice creams, or simply packed as frozen. Batch identification numbers on packages help to trace the product all the way back to the farm from which the berries were picked.
Hi Johannes, welcome to Dairy Farm. We have here plenty of cows, as you can see, and we try to offer them as good quality life as possible. Safety starts from the farm, from here. You can see that we take care a lot about the air ventilation, light, because animals need to have light and good ventilation. Also remember that animals should have all the time access to the feed. Animals need to have time all the time for also relaxing. We should take care that animals do not get stress or fear. Animals should not be sick, and it's our responsibility to take care of that. You see this yellow tag, the number, that's really important. In Finland, from the day that an animal is born, we take care of this animal recording. So why we need that? We know exactly how many cows we have, and also if there is any problems or any disease, we can control or we can do the traceability back. What that means? It means that all actors in the food chain or milk chain, they can go back and find out what is the problem if there is any problem. If one animal is sick, then we have to really take care of. And in case we use antibiotics for some reason, then it's only veterinarians who can do that. Only I can do that. And that milk cannot go in the same tank with the milk from animals who are not sick.
Health and welfare of animals in Finland is very important. Animal health and welfare control is based on the European Animal Protection Law and its 5 freedoms. Freedom from hunger and thirst, freedom from discomfort, freedom from pain, injury and disease, freedom to express normal behavior, freedom from fear and distress. Managing health and welfare ensures safety, responsibility and traceability. Cows are milked 2 to 3 times a day, usually with the help of milking robots that rinse the udder of the cow before milking. Milk is stored in a collection tank on the farm that keeps the milk cool. Milk is collected every 2 days, following a particular route plan with a milk collection truck and transported to the dairy. All food operators are required by European legislation to have a self-monitoring plan and implementation of the Hazard Analysis Critical Control Points, the HACCP approach, to control microbiological or chemical risks in food processes. HACCP has 7 steps. Conduct a hazard analysis, identify the critical control points, establish critical limits, establish a monitoring system, establish corrective actions, establish record-keeping procedures, establish verification procedures. The whole food value chain, from primary production to food manufacture and retail sale, is subject to an inspection program. Food establishments are inspected regularly by veterinarians and municipal health inspectors. Food control involves quite a lot of sampling and both microbiological and chemical analyses. An essential aspect of the transparency of the food chain is that the outcomes of the inspections of food establishments are available for the general public. The OIVA reporting system used in Finland and overseen by the Finnish Food Authority provides the public and consumers sufficient information about the hygienic quality of the food establishments. OIVA means excellent in Finnish. The OIVA report summarizes the findings of the inspection. The results of the evaluation are indicated by emoticons: excellent, good, to be corrected, poor. Education is key to ensuring food safety and good quality food. In Finland, this is ensured through education from the basic to the tertiary level. This includes technical training at vocational schools and expert training at universities of applied sciences and universities. Educational institutions also work with industry in research, for example in product development, sensory and nutrition analysis, and safety and quality improvement. Hygiene training is also important to ensure skills and knowledge to produce safe food. All food handlers in Finland must hold a hygiene passport, which is awarded by the Finnish Food Authority. Training is provided by educational institutions and private enterprises, and an examination is given by examiners approved by the Finnish Food Authority. The collaboration and trust between the different stakeholders in the Finnish food sector chain ensure that there is open and timely intercommunication and an aligned vision. There is a high level of interdependency between the different stakeholders. Farmers, producer cooperatives and processors work together to define specific quality requirements and provision of training and advisory services to farmers. This is the story of how we in Finland have created strong alliances and synergies using local know-how to ensure we provide good quality and safe food. We believe that you can create your own innovative ways to reach the same goals. After all, safe, healthy and good quality food is our shared responsibility.
So with this very nice video, I want to thank you. And if there is any questions, Paula?
Yes, there are a couple of questions on the chat, and I wondered if you could answer them in the chat room. So,
yes. Yeah.
Okay, good. So we can then we are a bit behind on the schedule, so we can move on to the next speaker, and you can continue the discussion in the chat room also.
Thank you very much. And I couldn't stop this video because it was so informative.
I know. We
Thank
don't
you.
mind. Thank you.
Thank you.
So let's then move on to the next speech in this webinar, and it will focus on the topic on the sustainable food production from the perspective of food microbiological safety. So I would like to give the floor to Mrs. Jenni Korhonen from the University of Eastern Finland. Are you with us, Jenni?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the invitation. I start sharing the screen. Okay, so you should see and hear me now.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the kind invitation to this event. And I'll go through some ideas and some projects that we are running at the University of Eastern Finland, together with some stakeholders, of course, about the food microbiological safety and concerning a couple of new technologies and applications. Before I go through this, I think we need to put this in a bigger frames. How do we influence on the big field of ensuring the food safety? Because like we heard already, it requires that every part of the chain is working. So just a reminder that we now have the new food research and innovation strategy in Finland. I hope you have heard about it already. That's for the years 21 until 35. So we see that the Finnish food research and innovation strategy here targets to support sustainability as well as nutrition and economic growth in Finland, and the Finnish food system, both in national and also in EU level. So in this food research and innovation strategy, the core interest in it is that as well as other related targets, it's to influence in the environmental sustainability. And also we need to keep in mind that environmental values are also highly ranked in the preferences of Finnish consumers, who value local, ethically grown, minimally processed and sustainable food. So what we do at the University of Eastern Finland in particular, we are focusing on testing new preservative methods and looking for new bioactive compounds to inhibit the growth of food pathogens. So I will go through in this presentation about some of these new technologies and applications in three parts. And what we are looking for is to find new food export opportunities for companies in North Savo to be able to increase the competitiveness in the area. And we are also trying to find some production processes and the usability of these production processes for different food groups to find or to expand and find concrete new alternatives to the product development as well. So both of these projects that I mentioned here, this Biomahti and Elsabot project, are related to this topic. The first is Biomahti project, where we are looking for or doing the usability assessment and testing of flavoring agents and other chemicals with commercial potential generated from different biomass. And then second and third here mentioned are studied in Elsabot project, which is trying to find how to improve the shelf life and ensure quality in food using new technologies. But let's go for the first one here. So new liquids from wood. We are doing some antimicrobial activity testing and safety testing. What we can see here in the picture is different liquids that are from wood obtained by pyrolysis production. So pyrolysis is kind of a thermochemical process that it's involving burning in a low oxygen atmosphere. So during the pyrolysis, the organic material is decomposed to solid, like biochar, and then liquid and gas products. And by changing the operating parameters, we can change the outcome of the products. And these parameters include like water evaporation, decomposing of hemicellulose, cellulose, and most lignins, for example. So what we get here is different types of liquid smoke or wood distillates, pyrolysis oil, or these type of words are used here. So of course, all what comes from the nature is not automatically safe or safer than something not so pure or nature driven. So we need to test these new substances and do the careful safety testing for microbiology and chemical safety. We use the combination of microbiological, analytic, and separation techniques. Mainly, we are at our unit, Institute of Public Health and Clinical Nutrition, doing the microbiology part of the work, and then together with the pharmacy department and applied physics. We have different types of analyzing methods like 2D gas chromatography equipment shown here, and then in purification of the molecules is the short path distillation unit shown here, but I'm not going to any details on those. So what we can then find here is that we are able to find solutions how to prevent the spoilage microbes and pathogens to grow. And here in the pictures 1, 2, 3, and 4, we have Fusarium proliferatum, which is a fungal plant pathogen infecting asparagus. So using the sample here, we can find that, for example, some Fusarium fungal pathogens are not able to grow on agar plates. So this decreases the amount of other more harmful substances to be used in this aspect. Then prevention of pathogens, we can also use this testing with so-called bioscreen equipment, which is a turbidometric analyzer. So we can find, based on the growth curves, that is the particular food pathogen, like we have here in the picture, Listeria monocytogenes, how well can it tolerate the substance that we are, for example, a liquid smoke. Does it decrease or reduce the growth of certain food pathogens? Then, of course, by this method, we cannot see whether the impact here is bacteriostatic or is it bacteriocytic. So does it only prevent the bacteria to grow, but does it also kill the bacteria? So then we do some further analysis here. So this is about the first one. Then the second option, what we are looking and doing research, is the high pressure processing HPP technology. And this is based on, this is the principle of this method here. So this high pressure processing is based on hydrostatic pressure. And the essential advantage of high pressure processing is based on the isostatic principle that pressure is uniformly distributed throughout the product, independently of the size or the geometry of the product in concern. And particularly useful, this is for high moisture foods like vegetables and beverages. And of course, we need to keep in mind that optimal processing parameters for kind of balancing the pathogen inactivation with minimal changes in quality are product dependent, because of course this high pressure processing can also change color or texture of berries or vegetables or whatever we are testing. So basically this is a quite intensive equipment here that we have, and at the university we do not have this equipment for high pressure processing, but we are doing the research together with a company called Toripiha, located in Suonejoki, quite near to Kuopio. What is also interesting is the prevention of noroviruses with the high pressure processing, and we can see that if we compare different non-thermal treatments for noroviruses, the HPP is the most promising one. So of course we get rid of noroviruses by cooking the berries, for example, but if we need to have fresh or not that much processed berries, this can be one option for that. But of course also there is mentioned that optimal virus elimination strategies need to be validated based on food products in concern. Okay, then finally the third option and the third technology is the visible light, so light emitting diodes LED technology. I have to admit that I was first, when I heard this some years ago, I was very skeptical about this. So how can a visible light prevent pathogens to grow? But I have to admit that I have to change my opinion on this one as well. I'm happy to say that. So kind of while consumers demand even more of these kind of additive-free and unprocessed food products, and consumers wish to have them available throughout the year, we need to also in Finland think of the long transportation distances, and of course then companies think of the possible financial losses and the amounts of food waste. These all poses some challenges, of course, quite intensive ones. And this blue-violet light of visible light spectrum has gathered quite or a great deal of interest among researchers and food industry because of these antimicrobial properties in recent years. So unlike more traditional thermal treatments with heating, this doesn't affect the sensory properties and nutritional values that much. But of course, again, we have to think of food item one by one here. So this is about the light treatments. We can, based on the wavelength, we can divide the wavelength. So the visible light is next to the UV light, and then we can also use these light pulses, which is another technology actually. And inactivation of microbes are based on oxidizing molecules and then the DNA or RNA damages that it causes. And regarding the microbiological analysis, we have tested a variety of different pathogens, Listeria, Salmonella, Candida, and so on, and with different foods. Here we have kale, slices of kale here, and then we also tried some organoleptic evaluation on this one. And what was found is that UV and visible blue lights are able to prevent the growth of different food and human pathogens when grown on liquid suspensions. Then another aspect is the biofilm of Listeria monocytogenes in steel surfaces. We can see clearly from Sanna Puranen just submitted one article related to this. We have the light treated and then dark colors, so we can see that in steel surfaces we are able to reduce the amount of Listeria on these surfaces and the biofilm formation. Even more clearly it is seen with the aluminum and especially when coated with nanomaterials. So this is quite intensive area of study at the moment as well. And here these are some electron microscopy pictures from Listeria biofilm. Here on the right side we have the aluminum plate. By naked eye this seems really smooth plates. As well as the steel plate here, but if we take a close look at these, you can see here that these blue ones here are the Listeria cells, and they fit just perfectly on the steel plate surface. So good for Listeria, but not good for us and the hygienic profile here and maintaining the good hygiene in these plates here. So about the conclusions then, I go to my last slide here. To sum up everything, we can say that research areas are covering that we do. They cover widely the impacts of food on our health and well-being, and our laboratories offer facilities to study the digestion of food constituents. We are doing some gut health and gut permeability studies in relation to between food items and other ingredients with the host and the gut microbiota. And safety and related technologies as well. And we tried our best to work openly with stakeholders and strive to promote the open science in the food sector. This is it. You can find us in UEF Connect profile, the whole study group of ours, and then you can see the public health and clinical nutrition in Twitter and personally me there as well, and you can contact me by email if needed. So thank you. I think I spent 20 minutes as I was promised, but I hope we have some time for questions.
Thank you, Jenny. Please, if you have questions, to add them in the chat. We will now move on with the agenda for this webinar, and you can continue discussion on the chat room.
Thank you.
Really loving this visual note-taking about the microbiological safety. Okay, but then on with the show. Last November, European Commission approved a new smart specialization partnership called Peri Plus, and the partnership aims to set up an interregional cluster that focuses on natural resources. And this partnership is led by Regional Council of Kainuu in East and North Finland. And our next speaker presenting this partnership is Regional Development Director Jouni Ponnikas from the Regional Council of Kainuu. So you're welcome, Jouni. Are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Hello.
Thank you. Hello. I think it's up to me to share the
Yes, go ahead.
screen.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's test
Yeah.
how it works. Mm-hmm. Now I'm somewhere. Yeah, I'm sharing, sorry. Do you see this presentation now?
Yes, it's not on, yeah. Just click the,
Yeah.
perfect.
Now it's as it should be. Okay. Everything is good so far. I'm Jouni Ponnikas from Regional Council of Kainuu and tell you something about our Peri Plus partnership and the value chain analysis that is the main method we use in this RIS3 partnership. And as Paula said, mentioned, this Peri Plus is one accepted RIS3 partnership. And this is not an oldest, but one of the newest of these partnerships. And these are the logos of partners, including the Peri Plus. And the Peri Plus is in this presentation is more like a frame, and I will concentrate on this value chain analysis that we like to develop as a method of finding new targets of innovation in investments in regions and new ways of finding added value of in the regional cooperation when we are developing innovations. And when we are dealing with Peri Plus, we are dealing with the natural resources and renewable resources, and also I can say that we are dealing with innovations of bioeconomy. And so Peri Plus is one of these RIS3 industrial modernization partnerships, and it's developed as a part of Bridges project, which is Interreg Europe funded project. Just ended a few months ago, but it's also I think that it's getting an extension and it will continue. And this is one of the results of the Peri Plus is one of the results of Bridges project. And then, of course, as said, this value chain analysis is main method when we are developing the cooperation in this Peri Plus partnership. Peri Plus accepted last autumn, and not last autumn, but last autumn, but this spring it was finalized and finally accepted. And Regional Council of Kainuu, which is the organization I represent, it's the coordinator of this cooperation. And as said, PeriPlus is dealing with renewable natural resources, ingredients and side flows. So circular economy is bioeconomy and circular economy of bioeconomy. Those are the key words in this cooperation. And the participant regions are all the regions that where the bioeconomy and this circular economy are relevant topics of RIS3 strategy. And the key topics of PeriPlus are to reach interregional investments and integrate partner regions innovations into existing and emerging European value chains, and to establish an interregional cluster as a way for constructing added value at regional and interregional level in the long run. So to create something permanent cooperation which concrete create added value and concrete create high tier level products based on renewable resources. That's the ultimate goal of cooperation. Of course, it's far away because we have just started, but that's the shining star we all are reaching, try to reach. And these are the partner regions, and from Finland we have Kainuu and Uusimaa region participation. And then there is regions from Greek, Italy, Portugal and Spain. And so far there has been a prioritizing of some value chains, and there are some of these has found so far dairy products diversification, vegetable-based proteins, peri-industry for innovative applications such as functional foods and regenerative cosmetics, forest industry side flows, which is of course very interesting and wide topic, and there are many interesting side streams to develop. For example, we are now funding a process where we develop the lignin, how we can use lignin as a raw material of bio-based glues. And the project idea is covering the development from very low tier level to high tier level, where we have ready products for production, and then we can reach investments to production to our region. And if this happens, I think that's the number 10 school example of this kind of developing process leading to permanent results. Regenerative cosmetics and so on. So this is the list of value chains so far, but this is under the construction and changing when we are going forward and finding new topics of cooperation. And this table shows the way how in principle this value chain analysis will be made. And of course, the first step is to recognize the value chain theme. What is it about? and then analyze what is that value chain's industrial modernization relevance, and then what is the inter-regional added value that can be reached for this value chain. For example, if we found some real bottleneck in value chains which tackle its results, and we have a knowledge in this cooperation network in some regions, some partner regions area that can be solve this bottleneck, then this inter-regional added value can help to go forward and create permanent added value and results from these value chains. So in that sense, this inter-regional added value is key element, of course, when we are talking about international cooperation in innovations developing. And then next slide shows some examples of this, how this methodology can be used in different contexts. And there is an industry value chains, and of course this means production from TRL to 1, 2, 3 to highest TRL level, and it starts from raw materials and ends up to marketable products and marketing and marketing of these products, and also the after sales services as a part of the production. And this is the ideal case, which cannot happen if there is bottlenecks on the process, and if some level is not working, then it's cannot reach the targets. And the value chain analysis help us find these bottlenecks and find the solutions also when this value change is made, and the results are common property in this Veriplus network, and then we together find solutions and can find this inter-regional added value, and which helps to solve the bottlenecks. Next. And then in companies we can analyze the value chains, and there are of course different aspects of production that are part of value chains, and these all have to also function very well, so that the production is real working and producing profit for the companies. And based on these analysis, we can create research, developing projects, plans, and explore different funding options for these common developing projects. And these can be business-to-business project or research-to-business project. And then together we will create a consortium, and then also apply funding for this. So no permanent ready funding, of course, is not available in Veriplus, but as a result of value chains and this cooperation, we can together apply funding for these topics we find most relevant and most urgent to solve. And then this is an example of value chains that has made by Luke in Finland, in Kainuu region, about the berry industry in Kainuu region. And it's very nicely so that when we categorize the different aspects of production and analyze these aspects in very details, we can find the key bottlenecks, key problems, key strengths, and also based on this analyzed, we can say that what are the key investments we need in order to make this cluster and value chains work as it should work. So this is just an example that and shows that this methodology has used, and this really can be a base of this cooperation in Berry Plus. And then how we benefit from this value chain analysis. First, via this analysis, we seek to increase localization, inshoring, and the relocalization, reshoring activities, and identify subcontracting or joint development solutions to explore at interregional level. So for example, in some cases when we are living the post-corona world, we can find the ways to relocalize some part of the value chains, for example, to Finland, to our region, and to make this more added value to our region, or to some other countries, to some other regions. So this is also a possible results of these value chains. And this nearshoring is equivalent to identification of interregional complementarities, and inshoring and reshoring relate to regional and national initiatives and development projects. And of course, when we find some, identify some possibilities of inshoring and reshoring, the highest value can be reached when the region is absorptive capacity, when the region has enough capacity to absorb these relevant businesses, that we have this capacity to solve the problems that we have found. And if these two issues match together, it's bring the win-win situation. And this value chain analysis to use as described here, it's also a tool that can be used as an entrepreneurial discovery method and way of do entrepreneurial discovery process as a part of RIS3 implementation. And in that sense, this process is also very useful for us as a regional development body, that we can use this value chain analysis largely in the future when we are implementing our RIS3 strategy. And the benefits for different partners, different stakeholders from this value chain analysis is, of course, for enterprises and industries. There are many benefits, and it can open new markets for export and open new customer relations. And then there are also benefits for research, of course, and as described earlier, it's open new research projects when we create consortium and apply funding, and it can lead to technology transfer, which is very crucial in many cases when we create an innovation infrastructure. It can strengthen data management expertise, commercialization and internationalization of research results, and also, of course, possibility to access a larger range of funding sources. And then for regions, it has many benefits, and for example, complementarity of regional interest as long run and improvement competitiveness of local economy improves growth and innovation projects prospects for regions, possibility to enhance the interactions and value contributions of regional knowledge resources, possibility and probability to combine regional and national funding with more competitive funding sources. And so in a way, all these benefits for regions are also the impacts that we try to reach when we are implementing our RIS3 strategy. So in this sense, this value chain analysis is also can be seen very useful method for RIS3 implementation and fostering the RIS3 effectiveness, RIS3 strategy effectiveness. And so this is also an example how we can model this value chain analysis, and at the end it can lead to project criteria and these as a result of these common created common development projects can be new products, improvement products, interregional innovation system improvement actions, and these all these impacts we put as a target and we reach later at the first point based on this value analysis we have made. Okay, and then this was a story of value analysis we are using for this implementation of Peri Plus partnership, and also use it as a ways of implementing our RIS3 strategy. And these are the steps we will take when we are implementing this Peri Plus partnership forward. And for example, in our region in Kainuu, we have started a nationally funded innovation project called INCA project, which is coordinated by University Consortium of Kajaani and measurement unit MITU. And it will be a project where we in concrete way create this value chain analysis in bioeconomy, and also pilot it and test it and develop this university unit as a cluster management unit. And it's not a big project, but it's very strategic project, and it's in concrete way implement this Peri Plus and also create the MITU as a cluster management unit. And then the target is that after the project, this university unit MITU will be more like a cluster management, and of course this helps take this gap smaller between research and business, and make the way that the business can the research can create more added value to regional economy, and that sense it's very crucial and important and interesting process, and help to reach these Peri targets and to implement Peri cooperation forward. But this is where we are, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Jouni. there is a discussion going on in the chat that you can join, but let's now move on to the last presentation of our webinar. And presenting an SME, Nordic Koivu, that produces birch sap straight from the forest of Eastern Finland, will be Susanna Luostarinen. Susanna is Executive Vice President of Nordic Koivu. So, Susanna, are you with us?
Yes, I'm with you, yes.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Just a minute so that we can, oh,
Yes.
It's already here. Okay, go ahead.
Is this East and North Finland in industrial transition and there, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, there we go. So first of all, I'm sorry I couldn't listen to the other excellent presentations that you have had today because I was in the North Carolina Chamber of Commerce to receive the internalization award of this year to our company. So I just joined this conference now, so I don't know what you have been talking about. I had a little time to listen to the previous one, and that was a very expert kind of presentation, and this mine will be another kind of presentation only about our company and what we are doing and how we have come up to here, and then let's see what you like it. So first of all, during the COVID period of time, we actually decided that we don't want to start saving and giving people leaves but we wanted to put even more efforts in the marketing and also product development. And we came up with this new slogan, which is the untamed touch of nature, which in my opinion describes quite well the birch sap itself, because that's exactly what it is. And in this next slide, you can see it is said that far away deep in the forests of Eastern Finland, things are different. Of course they are. We are in the middle of nowhere from the world's perspective, and surrounded by a very beautiful nature and also very beautiful birch forests. Just a little story how things started like 25 years ago. We moved to this little village, Tohmajärvi, located in Eastern Finland, and we bought a house here because we wanted to establish a family with my husband at that time, and we wanted to offer our children a very natural environment to grow up. And then we found this house, and around the house we had a very beautiful birch forest. And we started to think how to use that birch forest without using it as in the national traditional forestry, so that eventually all the trees would be cut down. And then we came up with the idea, or even the memory, that well, in the old times people have been collecting birch sap in the countryside in the springtime to get extra vitality and energy. And then we just decided that, well, let's make that birch sap an export product, and that's how it all started. And yeah, while in the first steps of Nordic Koivu, at that time we started with a different name called Aurinkolehto, but we changed the name in 2005 to more international, Nordic Koivu Ltd. 20 years ago, it has been a little bit, or the steps have been a little bit random perhaps, but the direction has always been clear. And we have always, since the beginning, been targeting at the international markets. And yes, step by step, we have grown into a successful international business, counting on the world's cleanest birch sap and the famous Finnish perseverance. Of course, it takes a lot of guts to stick to your idea, even if everything goes wrong. And then the principles of our operation have remained very much the same. We want that our quality is excellent, and we have long-term trustworthy partnerships with our clients and also with our forest owners. They are our driving force in the decades to come as well. The next slide, please. Yes, when I don't know how much you know about harvesting the sap, because usually it is done quite traditionally by placing a bucket next to the birch tree and making a hole, and then just dripping the sap from the tree to the bucket, and then taking the bucket to somewhere, process it further, or even freeze it. But in our system, we have developed an automatic collection system, which means that all our bird sap is collected through our automatic collection system. All our birch forests are tubed, and the bird sap comes automatically from the trees to the collection tank. From there, it's driven by trucks to our factory, and then processed and packed further. So, as you may well know, the bird sap season itself, it's quite short, always in the springtime. In our region, it starts somewhere in mid-April and lasts about 3 weeks on an average. And during that time, we do all the packing and bottling, and then, of course, an important part of our cooperation is our forest owners. Right now we have something like more than 100 hectares of birch forests under collection, and that means that all those birch forests are tubed for our automatic collection. And this automatic collection ensures that we can also expand the collection easily according to the demand, and it also guarantees us the optimal quality of bird sap. Next slide, please. Yes, the bird sap itself can for very good reason, called the water of life, because it's exactly the liquid that wakes up the birch trees after the long winter, gives them the energy to wake up and also to build their leaves. So when the birch buds come out, then the bird sap season is all over, and that means the end of the season. Next slide, please. Yeah, well, for us, only the best is good enough, and we really are on a mission to improve lives. That's quite a pompous way to say it, but by adding a touch of quality to daily consumable goods, for example, we help health-conscious people feel better and inside and out. Next slide, please. And when it comes to sap, Finland means quality, because there are many countries that in which bird sap is being collected, but they usually do, first of all, they do the collection in more or less in a traditional way, which already harms the quality, and then we do it with our own automatic system. And as regards Finland, when compared to other countries, we have 4 different seasons, which means that the trees have to grow in variable and demanding conditions, which makes them even stronger. And we have also in our factory strict manufacturing control to guarantee safe and high quality products to everybody. And in Finland, we have the world's purest groundwater. And this is, I think, a very important fact when you speak about bird sap, because bird sap is exactly that groundwater from the ground, and then some sugars from the tree roots that the tree has stored in the roots the previous fall when it has fallen all its leaves. And just stores the sugars there in the form of glucose and fructose for the waking up of the next ring. And we also have a unified birch forests, which is something that you rarely see in, for example, in Central Europe. The forests are not very wide or big, and then they also are usually mixed forests with also all kinds of trees. Next slide, please. In Nordic Koivu bird sap, well, we are certified organic. All our products are certified organic, which means that all our forests, collection forests as well, are certified organic. And we, in our natural bird sap, we don't add anything or any additives or any preservatives either. And still we have an excellent preservability, which is important when you think about the distribution to the world, for example. And what is also important is that we don't really freeze our bird sap at all, because some competitors, they don't know how to get the bird sap keep throughout the year, so they freeze it. And when, for example, you deliver to a beverage company frozen bird sap, that means that they have to unfreeze it first. And the freezing itself doesn't kill the bacteria and all the microbes in the bird sap. And when it starts to get unfrozen, the bacteria level starts to grow from the level where it was left when frozen. So and it's also easier for the factories to use the bird sap when it's in the liquid original form when compared to frozen bird sap. And then well, of course, as I told you, we have more than 20 years of development and experience with bird sap. So we can clearly call ourselves the leading bird sap producer in the world. We work according to the FSSC 22000 quality system certificate. Quality system, and we have the certificate for that, of course. So we are FSSC 22000 certified, and then we also have halal and kosher certificates. And one more thing that is very important for us, and also I think for our clients, is that we have very unique traceability. So with the lot number in each product, you can trace back this specific bird sap in that product to the part of the forest where it has come from, and to the day when it has been received from the forest, and to the production process, and so on. So the traceability is very important as well in our quality control. Next slide, please. Yes. As I told you, we have the world's best bird sap straight from the forest of North Karelia. All our collection forests at the moment, at least, are in North Karelia, and we still have plenty more of birch forests still not used. And the range in between the factory and the collection forests is 130 kilometers. So we work within this range at the moment. The forests are owned by private forest owners who do the collection with our technology. And of course, we have the secrecy agreements and long-term cooperation agreements with them. And yes, and as I already explained, that the origin of our bird sap can be traced down to the individual forest plot where it has come from. And our continuous investments in research and product development ensure the availability of best possible bird sap at all times. And we offer different solutions for different sectors. So we have, of course, different packages, sizes, and of course also available in large bagging boxes for the industry, but we also have consumer ready-to-drink consumer products. And we have a unique ability to deliver. So we can ensure smooth production without unexpected interruptions in the industry. Next slide, please. Yes, modern consumers are more and more aware of the artificial flavors and the additives, the preservatives, and they know that they are not good for them. And they expect and appreciate quality and also the fact that the products contain natural ingredients. And we are really committed to provide the best available bird sap, both as a ready-to-drink product and as a raw material for the cosmetic, beverage, and foodstuff industries, ensuring that whenever Nordic koivu is in the list of ingredients, they know that they have found a product that meets all their expectations. Next slide, please. Well, this is just a choose bird sap and extend its added value to the level of your brand. So that means that for example, for the beverage industry, we have some clients who use not a very big quantity of bird sap, but they use it because they want to get added value to their end products and also to get the benefits of bird sap as well. Next slide, please. Yes, we deliver to the beverage and foodstuff industry, and well, the high quality, clean and natural ingredient that adds value to the end products with its natural essence, restorative properties, and limited production availability. These are the facts why the beverage industry, but also more and more the food industry gets interested in using bird sap as an ingredient in their processes. And of course, it's natural, it's fully natural, and it's clean. The next slide, please. Yes, then we deliver to the cosmetic industry. And in the cosmetic industry, there is actually research done that indicates that bird sap improves the skin cells' ability to regenerate and to retain moisture. So this is why the cosmetic industries are interested in using bird sap, and also replacing water, because usually in the cosmetic industry they need to use some kind of liquid, usually water, but if they replace that water with bird sap, that improves the end product's quality and efficiency, and it also enables the end products to be certified as organic, because water itself cannot be certified as organic. The next slide, please. Then we have the product catalog, just to give an impression what kind of products we do at the moment. Please go on. First, we have the bottled bird sap. This is our very first product with which we started. It's a 100% natural bird sap in a glass bottle, and it's a ready-to-drink consumer product. And you have to consider that we can make this product so that it has not been heated either. We add nothing to it, but we don't heat it either, and still we offer a long shelf life in room temperature. And this is something that nobody else in the world can do. So this is very unique product as such. And next slide, please. Then we have also been developing bird sap in another form of packaging for the consumers to make it the price more affordable, and to also enable perhaps a wider distribution in supermarkets, for example. So we have chosen Tetra as our first package after the bottle. And this Tetra is a ready-to-drink consumer product, easy to carry with. You don't have to be afraid that it gets broken or anything. You can just throw it into your practice or training bag and go to your training. And you have to remember that these products are available throughout the year. and all our products are certified organic as well. Next slide, please. And based on this Tetra packaging, we have now been creating a new product family with 4 different products. So the first one is this original bird sap without any added flavor. So it's just 100% natural bird sap, nothing else. But then we have bird sap antioxidant, which has been flavored with blueberries. We will have a bird sap energy, which will be flavored with cranberries and guarana extract. And then we have bird sap sport, which has been flavored with lingonberries and cranberries. And all these products as well will be certified organic and certified kosher and halal. And next slide, please. Here you can see the kind of outlook of the products, what they will look like. This is not the very final outlook, but it's pretty much the same that it will be. And we are planning to launch this product series in August, in September at the latest. Next slide, please. And then, of course, we deliver to the industry, and for the industry, the most popular packaging size is 1,000 kilo bagging box. The brown one here, the carton one, is the most favorable one, or the most favored by our clients, industrial clients at the moment, because it's cheaper than the blue one, which is recyclable. But that means that they should then return this plastic the plastic box to us. So, and then next slide. We also pack for the industry in 10 kilo bags, aseptic bags, and also in 2.5 kilo aseptic bags as for sampling purposes. And then we have developed a totally new product, which is a bird sap concentrate. And that means that all the good ingredients of bird sap are in a condensed form, provided for both beverage and cosmetic industries. But for example, if we are, well, when we talk about bird sap, we talk about bricks usually, and the average bricks in a normal natural bird sap is something like 0.7. That means that bricks that it's pretty much like the dry solids content, and it's mostly sugars. So normally in natural bird sap it's 0.7, but we can offer, for example, bricks 2, which means that roughly we use 3 liters of bird sap to 1 liter of bird concentrate, and then the flavor is more is stronger, and also all the good ingredients are in a condensed form. So not only the industry, but also it would also make a good consumer product, I think, in the future. And then we can also increase the bricks according to the client's demands, so that we can increase it up to 10 bricks, which is already much more concentrated. Next slide, please. Okay, so keeping promises means that in all our operation, the leading principle is transparency and honesty, and we want to keep our promises everywhere. So you can see here our team, the service team, me, our CEO Arto, and then our domestic sales director, then our CFO, and Svetlana, our office manager, and Sylvia, of whom we unfortunately don't have a picture yet. In our quality and lab team, we have Tina and Elina, and in our production team, we have Ville and Sari and Terho and Marco. And then we have another person who is in charge of our actual technical work, like welding the stainless steel and so on, and he works part-time. And this is the team that works throughout the year regularly. And then in addition to this, of course, outside, not outside, but during the season, before and after the season, we employ much more people. So we can employ up to 60, 70 people during the season. It depends on how we organize the collection and of course in the production, even though it's automatic, we still need people to keep it running 24/7 if needed. So I think this is pretty much what we do, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me or send me a chat question.
Thank you, Susanna. There is one question in the chat from Sari Ivonen. Does organic certification give an added value to the sap water in the global market?
Well, it does in the way that it gives an official status, an official proof that it is really good quality and certified organic, because I know that in some countries, for example in Russia, they have been selling bird sap, which actually is water added with some sugar. So there are so many frauds going on at also. So the certified, the organic certification gives a kind of official proof that this is actually monitored, the production. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. So my apologies, we have already on overtime, but for the final leg of the webinar, we will have closing remarks from Ilari Havukainen from the East and North Finland EU office. And we pretty much, Ilari, used up all of your time already, so now you can officially keep it short. Thank you.
Thank you very much. No worries. I promise to be very short and brief this time. Thank you very much for the excellent webinar. It was a very nice preview and outlook to East and North Finland food production in many ways, and lots of technical details involved, and current knowledge and timely issues were discussed, and also the conditions were gone through quite comprehensively. But all in all, I think it's still a field we need to increase the cooperation, and there were great examples like Berry Plus and other ideas for the cooperation in the networks of this thematics. And yeah, I think there are a lot to build in East and North Finland. We have many good qualities, and also the quantity seems to be sufficient enough to play in the global game, as Nordic Koivu was proving that they can really create a global product. And congratulations for the award, by the way, which was given for Nordic Koivu, and also big congratulations for Regional Council of Kainuu for establishing the whole smart specialization partnership and taking it seriously from the beginning, and moving on from the learning and connecting phase. And I think that's the thing we all need to do to really build on the complementaries we have and the competencies we are having in the region. We are quite small in the end, despite the region is huge in East and North Finland, and I think it's a very nice way to forward. Global challenges are the same we're facing everywhere, and let's look for the more sustainable investments and work on that, and not to forget the research and technology. The research and development is the key for successful business, but very often we lack the skills to push them to the market and the commercialize. So I think the commercialization is the key and the word we can't forget today when pushing things forward. So thanks a lot for everybody. Thank you for very good presentations for all the presenters, and see you around next time, hopefully in live and physical conditions next time.
Yes, thank you, Ilari, and thank you to our excellent presenters today, and thank you everybody for being with us today. That's all, folks.
Thank you.